my daughter goes on camp. The door of my house stands open and I am carrying her suitcase out. Her toy rabbit stashed at the bottom of her bag, marshmallows, a half a loaf of bread. I drive her to the station. Standing on the platform, watching her, watching me through the window of the train, the dread of some other place swallows me. I am a woman who lives in the places I dream of at night, my daughter's face framed in a blurred old photo. When will I know quiet joy? When will school camp be school camp? A train, just a train, an oven, just an oven. When will I let them go, knowing they will come back? She waves her hand, fighting through mists of time, to reach me as the train pulls away, saying goodbye to the living, while I am busy waking up the dead. Stitching Things Together 2007. Number 1, Tracing the Pattern. And the titles of these pieces of the poem come from a book that I stumbled across when I was at Varuna Hall. Highly recommended. It's called Tailoring for Women by Gertrude Mason, ANC Black Limited, 1935. 1, Tracing the Pattern. I stab the curved needle into broken skin, pulling edges together with blue nylon sutures. Number 2, Alterations. My father was a tailor on Houffgauss in Jettel, 1931, running his thumb over loose threads. After he set the pigeons free on May the 1st, red ribbons tied to their legs, he sat in Lushenka's jail for months, urine poured into his communist nostrils. My grandfather shared a bottle of vodka with the guard and put his son on board the SS Moreton Bay in 1938, before the storm began. We sacrifice everything for our children, Father said as he sewed coats in Melbourne, looking down from the window onto Flinders Lane at men loading mannequins into trucks. While Europe blazed and swallowed up his youth, his love, his life, he basted coat sleeves and pad-stitched lapels. Number 3, Pressing the Seams. Local anaesthetic wears off. The laceration begins to throb. The pain of the body split open returns.
Lament of a small town boy. All his life he was known, and all his life he dreamed of a place peopled by strangers, where his name was his own and not his father's, where the sky was a thing to search for, a prize to be won, not the omnipresent eye of ages, where he would come upon the smell of cut grass suddenly in small packages, holding the memory of it there just under his industrious nose, if he chose to, where he could sit in a train carriage and stare at changing faces all day, not once discovering the exact shade or kink of his own hair, or the way his mouth twitched as if anticipating a kiss, where women and men falling would believe they saw eternity in the endless flames of his eyes and think him finally one of a kind. Every grain, every hair, which came out of the awful drowning a few years back now of the 2 sisters in Rome on the beach. I don't know if anybody remembers that, and there was a lot of media coverage and controversy over the locals continuing to sit on the beach and picnic, and anybody remembers every grain, every hair. The day those gypsy sisters washed up on the beach like mermaids who simply desired more, I feel should be a day I remember, the way people remember exactly where they were what exactly they were doing when they heard about JFK, Elvis, 9/11, because I have sisters, am one, because I am the mother of sisters. I search for a context, a safe place outside the picture, a world away, nursing a drink, TV dinner, or driving complacent, only half listening to the radio. Some familial framework to lean on, gaze out from, but there is just this grainy media image, and me impossibly there, looking on, looking away, and two dead girls who could be anybody's, who could be mine, pseudo-sunbathing on their backs, imprinting the sand, all that sand, every grain accounted for. That's my prayer. Beyond the beach towel shrouds, beyond the bare Romany feet, every grain, every hair. And on a lighter note, the art of being right, inspired by an Eve overheard conversation very late one night, or perhaps it was very early one morning, when I lived in my bedroom was just sort of off the street with one pub at one end and another pub at the other end. The art of being right. There's a block between the pub just closed and the one still open. A good hour left of drinking if he walks ahead, which he has to because she can't keep up in those heels, those tears, unpredictable as backyard fireworks, shouting the third degree, something about why can't they just have a quiet drink at home. Raising his own voice now, but only because of growing distance, patiently repeating himself as if to a small but gifted child. I told you, spacing words like footsteps through a dummy minefield. I just needed a spew. Temporal, conditional, and as happy endings go, more tragic than trite. So I had a spew, and now I'm right. And I'll finish with the final poem in the book. Had I stayed in bed this morning, I would have missed the neighbours' kids lounging in tree branches, two girls and a boy laughing like they hadn't yet landed, like the world was a thing they had the rest of their lives to explore. Magnolia petals at my feet, drawing my gaze upward to a fragrant sky of lavender pink. A young woman in black stockings pulling at the hem of her black miniskirt, skipping blindly, gleefully across the road. Another in a red and yellow checkered jacket, walking as if balancing war and peace on her head. The tiny feather floating before me, long enough to suggest I was following it. An elderly figure in a fur hat, walking 10 paces behind a white poodle. The McDonald's paper cup rattling along in the breeze in the gutter, making music. Yes, really, music. Even the curve of the dog turd I stepped around seemed to smile a gentle irony. This is how it is some mornings, reawakened at every corner, though you never know which corner, though you never know which mornings.